The Halo Season 2 Episode 8 ratings are out. The Halo Season 2 finale, you could say. Did Sergeant Johnson get sent out with a bang? No, because he doesn't exist here. And the show didn't really either. Halo hasn't been in the top 10 for the last couple episodes, for the originals and the Nielsen ratings. But the finale actually got them to finish in the top 10. And you might think to yourself, well, that's good. People got excited for the finale. There was more viewers. And really what happened is we're just in a desert of media right now. It's still getting pretty much crushed because of Netflix and then obviously Shogun and this Apples Never Fall show that was doing fairly well last week also on Peacock. So the last couple weeks, you can see here in my numbers, I assumed like best case scenario, and I had them more around like 300 million minutes watched, 330 million minutes watched, but we didn't know because it was all just me guessing. And they're around 295 million minutes watched for the finale. The only difference really is that the number 10 show in the top 10 is much lower than in previous weeks. So it doesn't really say anything about Halo. So if this is your first time seeing one of these videos for me, I assume that out of all these minutes watched, every person watches only episode 8 and they watch the whole episode. So this number that you're seeing is like absolute best case scenario for Paramount. And to me, I think this is pretty indicative that the show just didn't do well. All these numbers here for number of viewers are me guessing and giving them the benefit of the doubt the whole season. So after episode 3, from what it looks like, the show maybe got a boost for episode 4 because that's the one that was hyped. But if it did get a boost, again, we don't know. Then it dipped and then just flatlined around this 5.4 million number. And I think that in actuality, you're probably looking more at like 4.5 million because, like I said, I didn't include anyone who watched other episodes, watched 10 minutes and turned it off, watched the whole season right that week to get ready for the finale. None of that stuff is accounted for. And something else that's not here in the numbers is that Paramount is trying to sell itself off right now. I mentioned this a couple of videos ago. They had a 30-day window of exclusivity with Skydance to get bought out, like make a deal. The window itself isn't done, but the reports are coming out saying that they're not going to have a deal done by then. So it sounds like Paramount is just going to get bought and sold off piecemeal. I think there was any hope for the Halo show getting season 3, which I'm not sure if there was to begin with. It's pretty much out the window now because it sounds like people really want to buy the studios and the movies and that end of it. But then all the streaming stuff is just kind of like meh. So I'm sure some stuff, obviously, like Big Brother, and you have shows like Suits and stuff. I'm sure all that'll get the rights bought too. But even if someone buys the rights to Halo, are they going to want to invest in this show and spend another 50, 60, 80 million dollars? My guess is no. The rights to Halo will end up somewhere, presumably. But if that's the case, I think it's much more likely that they just say, screw it, the show's done. Let's just put it all into a big budget movie and see what we can do. Because it doesn't really seem like the fan base is there for a season 3. To me, obviously Paramount has all the numbers. We don't know. And look, whoever buys it could say, hey, they've got 2 seasons. They've got somewhat of a core audience. We don't know the size of it. And we think we can use that and then turn it around. Or we like the way the show's going, we'll continue it. Or we think that we can make it cheaper, we'll keep it going. So there are ways that they could get the show and keep it going. I would just be really surprised. Typically, when you have a lot of movement with the studios, everything that's already there just gets canceled and they kind of want to start fresh. You even saw this with Warner Brothers, which is a pretty big studio. When they brought James Gunn in to take over the DC EU, they threw everything out. Movies, actors, just gone. And those movies made a fair amount of money, depending on which one you look at. They weren't all bangers, but either way. He could have just kept that universe going, but the trend was down. And my guess is that the trend is down in the actual numbers that Paramount has that we can't see. And wherever Halo ends up is going to be like, no. Like if we want to do something with Halo, it's either going to be a movie or we're just going to take a break, hard reset, and do a show of our own. But I could be wrong, obviously. So yeah, this is the last one. I don't have much to say other than pretty much each week that goes by, that this Paramount deal gets dragged out, that we see the viewership, I think, just slowly waning, and it wasn't that high to begin with. I think the show's done. People online seem very certain it's getting a season 3. They're already speculating about what's going to happen. I just don't see it, but who knows? And one more thing to consider, and this is the last thing that I'll say, is say that Paramount gets bought and sold kind of piecemeal. Maybe the big company, I think it's called Apollo, buys them outright, whatever the case may be. As of right now, I don't believe they have anyone under contract. So even if they were like, we love the Halo show, we love the direction, we're happy with the numbers, they would have to get everyone back under contract. And then from there, you're looking at, I would say, 2 years minimum to get the show out. And you cannot have these shows happening every other year and keep their audience. TV just doesn't work that way. And there's a reason that Marvel wants to put out 3-4 movies a year and a couple shows. Like, you want your brand constantly in the audience mind. That's just kind of how things are now. The days of a Star Wars movie every 3 years are long gone. And I'm being generous with 2 years. I think realistically, by the time all this gets sorted and the dust settles, they're able to look at the numbers, negotiate contracts if they need to, pick showrunners and writers and get scripts and all that stuff. I think you'd easily be looking at maybe late 2026, possibly even 2027 before season 3 comes out. Who is going to be hungering for a Halo season 3 by then? I don't think there's that many people who want it now. And a 3-year wait is huge for TV. So that's just my opinion. I'll just say when I was first doing the ratings, I was like, okay, maybe they've got something. Maybe they'll build a little bit of an audience and keep it going. Even though I want it canceled, people are watching. And now I feel much more like I would be very, very surprised if it gets to season 3. So whenever it's announced officially, I'll make a video. And I guess I'll just say that I was wrong and they're getting to season 3. Or I'll have myself a little laugh and hope that we get a Halo big budget movie soon because it's canceled. That's it. I'm not going to say any more. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Do you think the audience is as big as I'm guessing, which is the high end? Do you think it's way lower? Do you think Paramount being sold off won't matter at all? I try to respond to all the comments that aren't just insults. Like and subscribe and all that. Thanks. See ya.